Hello there and welcome back, everyone. We're here doing the lessons of A Course in Miracles, and today we're going to be doing lesson number 27. I'm here in the Costa Rica airport heading back to the US this morning, and a great lesson for me to contemplate today many times is, above all else, I want to see. Today's idea expresses something stronger than mere determination. It gives vision priority among your desires. You may feel hesitant about using this idea on the grounds that you are not sure you really mean it. This does not matter. The purpose of today's exercises is to bring the time when the idea will be wholly true a little nearer. There may be a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you when you say you want to see above all else. If you become uneasy about the lack of reservation involved, add, vision has no cost to anyone. If fear of loss persists, add further, it can only bless. The idea for today means many repetitions for maximum benefit. It should be used at least every half hour and more if possible. You might try for every 15 or 20 minutes. It is recommended that you set a definite time interval for using the idea when you wake or shortly afterwards, and attempt to adhere to it throughout the day. It will not be difficult to do this, even if you are engaged in conversation or otherwise occupied at the time. You can still repeat one short sentence to yourself without disturbing anything. And I really like this advice because I find that the lessons now, because I've become more and more familiar with them, they do float up into my mind at times when I am speaking to people, and it doesn't disrupt the conversation, it doesn't take me off track. In fact, usually when the lessons come to mind, it makes me more present to whatever I'm doing or whoever I'm speaking with, makes me feel more compassionate and open-hearted in any situation. So this is a good lesson in meditation in motion, using these lessons in your regular life, not just your spiritual morning or your spiritual moments. Like this weaves and integrates this material, these metaphysical concepts into your life. So if you haven't been able to do that yet, try it today. Maybe make a point while you're involved in conversation or doing something else that bring the lesson in and see if it changes the way something feels, or it changes you and how you respond in certain situations where you don't have the Course in Miracles lessons floating through your consciousness. All right, the real question is, drum roll please, how often will you remember? How much do you want today's idea to be true? Answer one of these questions and you have answered the other. You will probably miss several applications and perhaps quite a number. Do not be disturbed by this, but do try to keep on your schedule from then on. If only once during the day you feel that you were perfectly sincere while you were repeating today's idea, you can be sure that you have saved yourself many years of effort. So one thing I want to mention from the Ken Wapnick notes on this lesson is that Jesus is wanting us to release guilt. So obviously it's been put out that the recommendation is to do this lesson every half hour. If you forget, or if you miss, or if you're resistant to the idea, above all else I want to see, if you feel like that's not really true, let that guilt go immediately. We're not only surrendering to the wisdom in these teachings, but we're surrendering to the idea that our ego doesn't have to run our lives. And if we think we're trying to be good and do what we're told to do, and we miss and we make a mistake, we have to let go of that guilty feeling. And if we feel guilty because we're resistant to the lesson, let that go. This is an excellent exercise in bringing your spiritual practice into all the moments of your day. And if you feel feelings of guilt, to learn how to let that go. It's a good practice, because I think a lot of us carry guilt around our entire lives for things that are not happening right now. I will say, interestingly, I just read this lesson here in the airport. So on the way to the airport, we had a driver, and I paid him after we arrived at the airport, and he just had this look on his face like he was disappointed, and I had a visceral feeling in my body. I paid in the currency of Costa Rica, colones, and I did the math to make sure that I had the right US dollars, colones, because they were expecting US dollars, but I paid in the local currency, but it was the correct amount. Actually, it was a little bit more, colones. And I literally felt this like really shame, guilt feeling. And he didn't say, you didn't pay me enough. He just had this look on his face, like he was disappointed. And I didn't ask him why, which is also something I could have done. But I just, as he was walking away, I just felt this feeling that I was manufacturing in my body of I had done something wrong. I had made a mistake. So I never resolved it with him. And I knew that, okay, it's on me to not carry this with me all day. So it took me about 45 minutes to just kind of replay in my mind that I knew that I gave him the right amount of money, and nothing wrong actually happened. But it's like that feeling was there, and it's almost always a reflection of something in the past. Like there's a belief underneath that I'm not allowed to make a mistake, or I'm not going to be okay if somebody's mad at me. Like there's something underneath it that I was viscerally feeling for, like I said, about 45 minutes, and then it released. So, it's things like that. I can apply this lesson directly to it. Above all else, I want to see. And then, the lesson from a couple days ago, I don't know what anything is for. That whole interaction with that human being, which if we follow this idea that I'm creating my entire movie of my life, I created that interaction as an opportunity to see something in myself, to feel something, obviously, because it was a very visceral thing. It wasn't really an intellectual, mental thing. So I don't know what anything is for, and above all else, I do want to see. And that's just kind of an example of how life can come up, and then you can apply the lessons, whatever the lesson is for the day, and get some sense of peace from it. Like I feel like I'm trying to learn about my consciousness, and I'm trying to open my heart and be more compassionate with my fellow man. So I don't know if that helps you at all. It doesn't have to make perfect sense, but I know that every step that I take, and every time that I pick up this book and read the lessons and listen to the text or read the text, that I'm getting closer and closer to that stage where I'm going to have perfect peace. I'm going to have this feeling of, not being viscerally bothered by anything, because I've allowed all of my incorrect or untrue beliefs to be removed, and there's really nothing there to cause an energy block in my system. So that's where we're headed, I believe. And so there's like a real life example of how the lessons can help you understand something and help you find peace in yourself, especially if you can't make peace with the other person, if you've had some kind of an interaction that's left you feeling sad, depressed, embarrassed, angry, or all the other host of lower vibrational emotions that we can feel. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Congratulations on making it to lesson 27. And I love you all very much. Keep up the practice, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.